Welcome, Totem Pole Nation. It's Lambo and Totem Pole Nation. We have my favorite guy, Coby, that is back. All right, in the previous episode, 11 days ago, Create Your Existence is his platform. But this is going to be a new series where I bring him in every once a week, whatever he decides to do, whatever his availability is. But this is going to be Coby's episode. We're going to call it Coby's Quarter. Episode 2, the topic today is going to be dumpster mentality. So, I've been peeping, I've been watching, I've been keeping track. Coby, talk to us about your previous video that you made. I think it's about 2 days ago. You put it on Instagram, TikTok. Not sure which one you put it on first, but you talk about the mentality of college. You're saying that college isn't bad, but at the same time, you're wasting your money. And there's a lot of things, like you said, you mentioned in your past TikTok live as well that, I don't have to go to college to do photography. You're already doing right now. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Explain that to Totem Pole Nation.
So I think that the biggest thing when it comes to college is a lot of people feel as if they have to go to college. They pressure you ever since you've been in school. You have to go to college. If you don't go to college, then you're a failure. But then when you go to college, you get in immense amounts of debt. So regardless, society as a whole basically screws you over. And I'm not saying that college is a bad thing, because obviously if you want the college experience, then, go to college. But for example, if you want to, as he said, something as a photographer, if you want to do social media, start your own type of business and stuff, you don't really need college for it. And it's a big misconception, because I think college at a base level is a good thing. However, you just don't need it unless you want to be something as a doctor, a lawyer, a type of engineer, something of that sense. You can look up everything on the internet and you'll be fine. You can learn from your own trial and error. However, what I see from a lot of people, and especially as an 18-year-old kid, is a lot of people, they just settle for less. They just blindly listen and follow what everyone says. Oh, I have to go to college. Okay, I guess I'll have to go. Oh, I have to put myself in debt. Well, I guess that's just the average thing to do. So the norm for everything nowadays is crazy. Like the fact that people don't have no idea what they want to do, and then they just throw themselves into college. And I'm not saying that it's wrong to do that. I'm just saying that I think in my opinion, it's not a smart move. I think if you know what you want in life, and college is an outlet that you need for that, then yes, go to college. But not everything requires college, in my opinion. I mean, look at me. I'm 18 years old, and I do not say this to flex, but I have a house. I run multiple online businesses. I'm doing all the social medias. I'm making meaningful connections and stuff. And I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. And I say it because at the end of the day, I have a better, healthier life, a better mentality than the average adult does. And once again, I'm not saying it's to flex, but I'm saying just to kind of prove a point. And I graduated high school a year early. I took advanced classes and was like, I don't care about school. So instead of taking, more classes for college, I was able to graduate a year early with like a 4.2 GPA. So it's just, you don't need college to become successful. So if you are watching this and you're pressured about, do I go to, my parents want me to go to college. Everyone's telling me I have to go to college. I have to go. Don't force yourself into it unless you have a clear vision on what you want. And that's a milestone that you have to hit. So
I was in the same situation. I think when I was 16, 17 years old, I graduated early with a GED at 17. I've been working a job since I was 15 because I wanted to make my own money. I started in the real world, but I was in the same situation that most folks are in right now. Do you have to go to college for this? Do you have to go to college? Why are you not going to community college and whatnot? I've been pressured a very long time, but I think at the end of the day, it's my decision, and my parents know that I'm not going to college. Why do I need to go to college? Because it's not about what you know, it's who you know. Now, you said there's certain things you need to go to college for. I think one of them is to be a teacher, football coach for like a high school, middle school. You do have to go to college for that. If you want to get paid, yes, you do have to go to college for that. Be a doctor, to be in NASA, maybe police officer, depending on the states. Those are requirements to go to college. But I've been in that boat. I've been in that situation before. But at the end of the day, it's my life, it's my choice. They can't force me to go to college. Now to explain another question, another question I have for you is, as I was scrolling through the TikTok previously, tell us from your first video that you made probably what January and TikTok. I'm not sure if you deleted it, but from your first video in January to now, what was the stretch and what was the progress like between January and July 25th as of today?
Yeah, and this is the craziest thing. And I'm not saying my content is the best out there because obviously people, that they have the editors, they have the team and stuff, but I do everything myself. And like as he said, to look at my first ever video I posted all the way up to the quality that it is now, I'm always upping the levels. I'm always focusing on improving the quality, the audio, my speech, the way that I convey my message. Like there's so many different things that I'm always just focusing on growing and implementing and building. And this is a mindset that a lot of people don't really have. And it's just crazy because I see a lot of these kids, they have the mindsets where I want to be successful. I want to have a lot of money. I want to have the freedom to do this. I want to be able to do this and that. However, the second they hit a roadblock, when they start, they're like, oh, too hard. I guess I'll give up and go back to wasting my time on video games. And you have to understand that if you want to get to that point, everybody starts somewhere. Everyone starts somewhere. It's not like as I say, it starts with you just picking up a camera and starting to record yourself, but it's not going to be good when you first start. And if it is, then something's probably wrong that you're not realizing. And you got to understand that my videos used to suck. And some may say that they still suck now, but I think that I'm always just improving. And to look back and see that growth from my first video all the way up to the type of videos that I create now, it's crazy when you see the progress. And it's all just about that steady progression, taking it day by day. Okay, how can I do this? How can I do that? And a lot of people, when they do get past that first, I guess, barrier or roadblock, they then just kind of coast. They take that easy route where they're not really thinking about how to innovate their content. They're not thinking how to innovate their businesses, how to innovate their ideas and their goals and aspirations. And so nothing really happens. There's a reason why 95% of businesses fail and only 5% succeed. And this also applies with other things as well, not just business, but barely anybody actually achieves their goals in life. And it's because they don't want to give in to the time investment. However, they're more than welcome to invest their time into mindlessly scrolling video games all day. But the second it comes to something that's actually meaningful, very few people do it because they get criticized. And this kind of leads me into another point, is that if somebody is hating on you for wanting to improve your life, then you shouldn't be surrounding yourself with that individual in the first place. Because the only reason why people hate on you in the first place for trying to do social media, trying to improve your life, is because they know that they're incapable of doing that themselves. And best believe I have tons of people who say that my content is cringe. They're like, what are you doing? You're just a kid. You shouldn't be doing this stuff. But think about it this way. When I'm 25 years old and currently I'm 18 years old, that's like 7 years of me doing this. But at 25, you're supposed to have your life figured out. But whenever these people who hate on what I do and stuff, once they turn 25, they're going to be like, oh no, I don't know where to start. I'm supposed to be a multimillionaire at this point, but I don't know where to start because they didn't start young. And I'm not saying that it's impossible at that point, but I'm saying it's a lot harder. And basically, circling back to my point, is the progression over time. The earlier you start, the more likely you're going to have success. And so that really just my biggest thing is, like, you can look back at my content. You can say how bad it is. You can even say how bad my content is now, but just wait and see in a couple years and see how far I'll grow. So that's just mindset wise. That's my biggest thing.
I don't think it's about the content being so bad, because in a video that you had, I think about a week ago, you talking about that you were going to possibly make some adjustments. You had a poll. You're talking about would you rather have quality or would you rather have quantity? And 90% of the people said quality over quantity. Now, I think people don't understand what quality and quantity means. Quantity means numbers. Quantity means boom, 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 boom. Quality means you can take a little bit of time, but you still somewhat have to be consistent, but it comes out better. So in your Instagram reel 2 weeks ago or a week ago, you were talking about quality over quantity, that you was going to make some changes, saying that you don't have to somewhat post every day. Because explain that to people, because when people do YouTube, Instagram, and whatnot, and especially with Totem Pole, we posted every day, right? But at the same time, at first our videos were garbage. not really garbage, but like sometimes the editing was not as good, or the thumbnails. We have excellent thumbnails at Totem Pole. Our thumbnails is 100% good, but I think at the same time, sometimes people, sometimes us like Totem Pole back then when we started last October, we got concerned of putting the content out so fast. We put out 10, 12 videos a day. That's the quantity of it, but were we really taking our time? Were we really letting the viewers actually watch the video first before putting out new content? And especially at the same time, you have to put out a video that's either going to last as well. So tell us in that thought process when you made that video, quality over quantity. Tell us about the change that you was going to make, because you said, "Oh, I don't have to post every day, but I want to make sure I get the quality out there while I can still post maybe every other day or every 2 to 3 days." Tell us about that thought process and why did you make that video?
So my biggest thing is the algorithm always changes in social media. Everything changes. I'm not saying I know everything about the algorithm. However, I feel like I know more how to start social media and then start just continuously growing. Now, when you get to Mr. Beast levels, that's his realm. But to actually start social media, my biggest thing is when you first start, you have to make quantity. You have to be pumping out content to get yourself out there and to establish that foundation. But don't expect to blow up overnight, especially if you're wanting to go on social media. If you blow up overnight after one video, it's kind of not a good thing. And you might be asking, well, why? It's a viral video. It's because then you're going to blow up and then immediately go back down. And then it's going to be a lot harder for you to keep up that consistency. Versus with my kind of mindset is I'd rather have slow and steady pacing to grow and grow and grow, which will allow me to have better consistency. Now, I posted basically for 6 months straight every single day, if not multiple times a day. And obviously it's a grind. However, I think now I've hit a point where I've established that foundation. I have a good community I'm very thankful for. And I think now it's about making sure that the content that I put out there is good quality content. Because I'm not saying my content was bad quality before, but I want to make sure I really convey my point. I want to make sure that the production is the best it can possibly be. I want to make sure that the editing is very good and not rushed, because obviously I edit all my stuff, I record all my stuff, I do everything for my stuff. So obviously, it's a massive time sink on top of everything else that I do. So I think that the biggest thing is having quality over quantity is going to help you in the long run. I think when you're first starting on social media, I think it's good to post consistently. However, I think once you reach a certain point, I think it's good to, all right, I'm going to make sure that when I do post a video, it's actually worth watching. And I'm not saying my videos aren't worth watching. However, but there are some videos where you can kind of tell it's like, okay, well, he said this before, or, oh, well, what was the point of that video? Like, I don't convey my message in the way that I want to convey it. However, when I take my time, I make sure, okay, I plan this out properly. I speak the way that I want to speak. My inflection is right, because you never know, especially once you get to a certain extent. You can mean something totally positive, but you can say it wrong and everyone's going to take it in a negative way. And before you know it, you're banned. So there's a lot of things that you have to be very careful and tedious when it comes to posting. But I definitely say in the long run, having quality is going to help you more in the long run.
So that's a very good answer, because we tend to rush, and I think for social media folks, we tend to we want to blow up so fast. But the question is, like you said, you can blow up with one video and be absolutely garbage, because the question is, you'll feed off the hype, you'll feed off that one video, but then after that, are you going to be consistent? Or there's some people that have social media pages, they delete the ones that have low viewers, but then they'll show the ones that have high viewers. So then you look at it and it's like, well, there's no way you only made 5 videos and all of them blew up, because the ratio of your followers don't really make sense. You just have the views, but you don't really have the followers. The only way you had the followers on TikTok, unless you did a duet or a stitch with somebody that someone blew up. But talk to me about your developing your daily habits. So this episode is called Dumpster Mentality. Part of Dumpster Mentality is to develop the daily habits. Talk to Totem Pole Nation about your daily habits from when you first started to now, or when you were 16, to now? Because you mentioned in a previous episode that you're talking about you disciplined yourself, you were hard on yourself, you didn't like high school, you avoided all distractions. How, as of now, at a high level that you're doing right now, at 110%, that you're developing those daily habits?
So the biggest thing to understand is that your habits dictate your subconscious thoughts. What you tell yourself every single day is going to come true. And I say this applies to religion, this applies to mindset, this applies to what's real from fake. What you tell yourself every single day eventually is going to come true. And I say this from the sense of, if you tell I know so many people literally when I ask them, oh, how's your day been? It's all right. I'm tired. Be like, oh, well, why? Why are you tired? I don't know. I'm just tired. So many people purposely, I want to learn the psychology behind this because I'm not quite sure why people do this. But I mean, I used to do it as well, and for absolutely no reason. But people don't, they're purposely not being upbeat and positive. And then they become reliant on coffee, on energy drinks, and all these different things to keep them awake and happy and stuff. And my biggest thing is it's because of the habits that they've placed upon themselves. They don't know why they're tired. They don't know why they're listening to sad music all the time. They don't know why they're in a negative mindset. And a lot of it boils down to your habits. And so, and I'm very thankful that I realized this at a young age, because especially if you are a teenager, you need to understand that these are the most influential years of your entire life. How you live your life now could potentially change the trajectory of the rest of your life. So you need to really boil down and build up core principles that are going to carry you out through life. This is my biggest advice to any from 13 years old to probably 21. These are the most influential years of your entire life. And so you need to make sure that you are building yourself up to be the best person you possibly can be. And as I say, the mindset that I haven't always had this mindset. It has definitely been developed over a long, extended amount of time. And I'm still developing it to this very second. And the biggest thing that I guess I started implementing was thinking positively. Because once you get 5 core principles that are drilled into your mind that you never back down from, it's going to make everything so much easier. And there's certain things such as just being a good person, have good intention with everything you do. And a lot of it boils down to intention. What is your true intent? For example, a lot of people who are these gurus on the internet who are like how to get rich quick, how to do this, a lot of them, their intent is not to help you. Their intent is not to help you become a better person. Their intent is to make you feel as if you're doing something and then take your money from you. And that's their true intent. I'm not saying all of them. However, I'm saying a lot of them are. However, with me, with the stuff that I post, I genuinely want to make an impact and difference. Now, yes, I try and make money, but that's not the core. That's not the reason why I do what I do. And a lot of people, that is the biggest thing, is the intention. What intent do you have? Why do you do what you do? Why do you wake up every morning? Why do you want money? What is the intent behind you wanting to make money? What is the intent behind you wanting to help people? What is the intent why you work out every single day? Is it to get women? Is it to get cars? Is it to be fit and be healthy? What is your true and honest intention? So that's a big principle that I guess I think about all the time. And I want to create a legacy for myself. It all boils down to the word legacy for me. So my question is, what does it boil down to you? And then another core principle that I've also instilled is just having that discipline, understanding that you have to enjoy the struggle. And at the end of the day, you're going to fight something. You're going to have to fight something. You're either going to fight adversity through life, challenging obstacles that are going to prevent you from reaching the next level, or you are going to fight your own mind because you're preventing yourself from living your dream life. Regardless, you're going to fight something. You're not going to live through life with no issues. You're going to have issues. And stop putting the blame on yourself. Take some accountability. Now, I'm not saying everything is your fault. However, I'm saying you should have the mindset of taking accountability for yourself. If anything goes wrong in my life, I take accountability for it. If my tire gets popped out of nowhere as I'm driving to work, I'm not saying, oh, this stupid car, it's because of the heat and it boiled. No. It's my own fault. It's nobody else's fault but mine. I allowed it to happen. And so when you take accountability for everything good and bad in your life, that allows for more success as well. And it's just all these core habits that it takes time, and you have to keep on. Write anything you have in your mind, write it down. And once you tell yourself these things over and over again, Before you know it, you're already going to have an unbreakable mindset. And because of these habits that you've placed upon yourself, you're naturally over time going to generate more and more habits without you even realizing it that play a massive part in your success and your come up. So that is my biggest thing, is just get 5 different core principles. That could be what I listed or something else, but drill these into your mind and never back down from them. Always live by these principles.
When you take ownership of yourself, you're no longer a victim.
Exactly.
When you take ownership of yourself, you're no longer a victim. Why do we play the victim? That's the biggest question that I want to ask America. Why do we play the victim? Why do we tend to blame other stuff on other people? Now, to get to my point, whether you're a manager at a restaurant, whether you're a manager at or CEO of Apple, whether you're a football coach, even when other people do stuff, it's in your control. It's in your circle, meaning that you have to take responsibility for the people that are under you. So you're 18 years old. You're being a leader. You're leading by example at a very, very, very young age. You're moving up the ladder, whether it's in your job, your platform, you're moving up the ladder each and every day. Now, how would you feel if you were playing victim and something goes wrong? You know what I'm saying? Something goes wrong with your platform or your photography and whatnot. How would you feel if you was making content right now, but then on the side you was being a victim? Does that even make you look good, or is that making you like, being fake on the side? Explain to the people how it is to be a leader, and that you have to lead 100% of the time, not just in front of the camera, but behind closed doors.
The second you tell yourself that you're a victim, you're automatically putting things above yourself and then allowing it to control you. And this applies to a lot of different things. This applies to different mental health. This applies to physical barriers. This applies to spiritual things, religions. The second you place something above yourself and you say, oh, I can't do this because of X thing, you make excuses. Oh, well, this affected me, so I can't do X thing. You're playing the victim card. And the second you do that, you're going to fall behind. And I say this because I used to have a victim mentality. I think at some point, everybody has the victim mentality. And the reason why everyone does so is because it's easy. It is so easy to say, oh, I can't. It's too hard to do this. It's easy to take the easy route. It's easy. It's easy to do so. But they don't understand that in the future, it's going to have a negative impact on them. But the second you start, as I say, holding yourself accountable, even when it's not directly your fault, I'm not saying beat yourself up about it and negatively beat yourself about it, but when you take that ownership of, okay, sure, it's my cause. However, I'm going to find a way to fix it. And I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that this works. I'll use me for an example. I'm not trying to make it all about me. However, I'd say I still am. I'm still on the verge of being homeless. And I say this from a sense of, I'm looking for a roommate, and I'm at the point now where instead of trying to look for a roommate, it's like, oh, well, I can't live on my own because I don't have a roommate. I'm going to take accountability for myself. And I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. But basically, I need an extra $1,000 a month that I'm going to magically spawn out of thin air. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that. However, I'm going to find a way to make it work. Because instead of putting my energy into trying to find someone else who is 18 to 25, makes the money, has a good head on their shoulders, why not just take accountability myself and do everything by myself? I don't need to have let me make sure I phrase this properly. I don't need support from anybody else when I have myself. And I say this from a sense of as long as I have enough confidence within myself, I have trust. People don't trust themselves. They don't trust their own mindsets, which once again plays into the victim mentality. But when you trust yourself, you hold yourself accountable and you see yourself as your inner voice and your external person, and you communicate within yourself to that you have that trust. All I need is me, myself, and I. I know that if you put up me in any situation, negative or positive, I'm going to make sure I thrive from this situation. I'm going to make sure I utilize it to the best of my ability. And obviously, I'm going to mess up at times. And I do mess up all the times. I regularly mess up. However, I learn from these mistakes and I learn from these errors. So instead of saying, oh, it's the government's fault that inflation's up, It's not my fault. Oh, the school system taught me to be this way. Oh, some random person on the internet told me to think this way, and now I'm in immense amounts of debt. Don't put the blame on anyone else but yourself. And at the end of the day, you just have to live by this mentality if you want to be happy in life. Because if you're letting other people control your own emotion, at the end of the day, nobody cares about yourself and your goals more than you do. Nobody sees your vision more the way that you do. Nobody sees yourself the way that you do. And I don't care who you are. Nobody wants you to succeed as much as you do. And people who support me as well and want me to succeed, I know that they're not in bed thinking and hungry for my own success. Why would anybody be laying down in bed like why would anybody be laying down in bed, eyes wide open at night? Oh, I want Coby to be successful. I want him to be successful. Nobody thinks that. And at the same time, nobody is up late at night wanting you to become successful. The only person who wants you to become as successful as you do is you. So if you want something in life, you have to take an accountability. You cannot have a victim mindset because you're the only person who can make things happen in any situation, in any scenario. And you choose how you react. You choose your emotions. You choose your actions. All of these different things make you, and you have full control over it.
Don't be afraid of dying. Instead, be afraid of living with nothing to live for. I think that's a big saying around there because we get into a situation where we give ourselves some weird ass high expectations. Now, expectations are good, but don't give yourself high expectations that you can't meet. And I've listened to a lot of people out of Gary Vee, and Gary Vee is right what you said earlier. You're not gonna have your life figured out at 25. I mean, Oprah Winfrey didn't have her own show till she was like 35, 40 years old. There's plenty of people that didn't become rich or become successful with 40 years old. It's all about timing. It's all about being in the right place at the right time. It's about having the closest people in your circle, getting the job done, getting the job finished. But I think at the same time, with this platform, I think what we need to do with this platform is we need to, have a better mindset. We need to hold ourselves accountable each and every single day. Because when we don't, what do we look like? What are we? We are leaders. We're only probably about maybe 10% of the world that can probably change people's mindsets. Now, everybody's mindset is going to be very, very, very hard to change, but at the same time, we can't control what other people do. Like I said, if you have the ability to change 10 lives and you get 1 out of 10, 1 out of 10 is better than 0 out of 10. So another question I want to ask you is, what is Coby's compelling story?
What do you mean by that?
So the compelling story, what I mean by it is, after all this is said and done, what is your goal after all this is said and done? After you completed everything, after let's say you hit 25. Okay. Let's say you hit 25, 7 years from now, what's your story gonna be like in the next 7 years?
So my biggest thing is for nobody has life figured out. Even if you're 60 years old, like there's not a point in life where you're like, you know what? I know everything now. Like I've won at life. Like that simply doesn't happen because you're always experiencing stuff for the first time. Every year, every second, you have not lived this moment before. So you're always learning and through your own experiences, and everybody's life is different. However, and at the same time, I don't think I'll ever be finished. Like I'm always going to do what I do. There's never going to be a point in time where I'm going to just stop. I'm going to retire. I'll retire like in a literal sense, but not from a sense of like doing what my passion is, which is create your existence, helping people. This is a lifelong thing. Like this isn't one of those things where I'm trying to make it for a couple years, make some money and dip out. No, this is me. Like this is my child that I'm growing, and I'm building this community from absolutely nothing, no team, I'm not like an industry something where they insert it. I'm not one of those people. Like I am me, myself, and I. Like I don't have a team with me. Everything I do is through me, and so I'm building all this I'm building all of this from the ground up, and I will never stop doing what I do. Now, sure, eventually maybe it'll be one of those things where I might not do social media to an extent, or I might not do X, Y, and Z, but I will always do something related towards what my passion is, whether it's traveling the world, doing stuff with Create Your Existence, clothing wise, whether it's doing Create Your Create Your Legacy will always be a community where that's not going anywhere. That's going to be there literally forever. And I probably always will be doing social media. I don't think I ever will stop social media. Like, as of right now, nothing is going anywhere. Like, I'm never going to stop doing what I do. Even when I hit the top of the top, even when I'm in that top 1%, I'm living that luxurious life that everyone's wanted to live. Why would I just stop? Why would I stop? Why not break boundaries that no one has ever done before? And this is the biggest thing is I'm hungry. Like, when I want something, I want something. And I want to show that you don't have to be known for doing just one thing. I want to be known for doing multiple different things. I have a list of over 100 goals that I want to do throughout life. And it's not basic bucket list goals like, oh, I want to jump out of a plane and go skydiving. Like, these are goals that when I can't even say them publicly because people are going to think they're outrageous and that it's impossible. But time will tell. Time will tell. And I will achieve everything that I want to do. Currently, right now, if I want to do something, I do it. And so I've made so much progress in just 6 months. Imagine in 6 years. Imagine in 20 years, 30 years. Like, it's going to be absolutely crazy, the levels that I'm going to get to. And then you can always reference back to the things that I'm saying now. I don't say this to, I guess, kind of brag, but a lot of things that I say oftentimes come true and come into fruition. So I think it's very crazy and it's very interesting the way that I guess my mind works and the way that the future works, because I've been able to predict a lot of things. I'm not saying I'm Nostradamus and everything that I predict is true. However, anything that's related towards me is gonna come true. And a lot of adults, especially on social media, they're like, oh, well, I can't wait to hear you saying that in 5 years. Well, no, you're going to realize that life is really hard. You can't do this. You can't do that. And I'm like, well, look at where you're at in life. You're commenting on a random 18-year-old's TikTok hating on him. So at the end of the day, who really has a negative mindset? And so I know that when I want something, I'm going to simply obtain it. And I don't say it's in a cocky way. I say it in I don't know. But anytime I want something, I'm going to get it because I have the determination. I have the discipline. If I want it, I'm going to get it. So
whatever you give attention to in abundance when acted on will overcome and overwhelm your life once you act on it. That's the saying right there. So basically, what I'm trying to say is whatever you give your attention to and you focus on it 100% every single day, you will succeed. Now, you have to get rid of those people that are saying you can't do this and you can't do that. And I'll quote LeBron James, who was a basketball player from the LA Lakers, one of the greatest of all time. You probably don't watch basketball, but you probably know who he is. Yeah. I mean, it's common sense. I mean, LeBron James, Michael Jordan. But I was watching him on the I think it was Uninterrupted episode where he has his daughter. I think it's like 5, 6 years old, maybe younger than that. And the thing that struck me is never tell yourself you can't. Because once you tell yourself you can't and you're in the real world and you say, oh, I can't do this or I can't do that, within 25 years, you're going to have a mindset that says, I can't. And I think you can't say I can't. You can say I can. Now, you need to try and fail multiple times, like I have, like everybody else has in America. Keep trying and keep failing. Because the more you fail, the more you succeed. So why are people scared to fail? Go ahead.
It's because people have a fear of judgment. At the end of the day, it's because people are scared to be the outcast. And I'm not saying purposely be different. I'm not saying that. However, if you have a goal in life, and everyone has goals, I don't care about, oh, well, no, there's nothing I want in life. You have a goal. Everyone has a goal. Everybody has something that they want to obtain in life, whether it's a physical item, whether it's a mentality thing. Everybody has something that they want or want to achieve. And the reason why people are scared to do so and take action is because they have a fear of judgment. A lot of it comes from school, but it comes from a lot of places as well. But ever since you're in school, sit down, raise your hand to speak. I tell you if you can or can't go to the bathroom. You have to go to this place, which is essentially a prison for 8 hours a day, and you are not allowed to leave. Oh, you're talking in the hallway? No, you have to get to class. No, you can't be social. You have to sit there and be quiet and do your job. And so they tell you from a young age you have to conform to certain things, certain ideologies, and certain beliefs that other people have. And so I'm not saying to just hate on everything. However, what I am saying is always ask questions and always do things to get outside your comfort zone, because the reason why a lot of people have a fear of judgment is because they don't want to be the outcast. Because the second someone makes fun of them, people post about them on social media, it's over for them. Because they do not trust themselves, they don't have enough self-confidence within themselves. They rely on other people around them for that validation to tell them, no, you're okay, dude. Like, you fit in, like, you're good. And so the second other people say that they're not good, they don't fit in, then it crushes them, because then they have nobody to go to. They don't trust themselves. And it's a primal thing. It's not one of those where, oh, it's a new recent thing. It's primal instinct. Think of it. If you don't survive, if you don't fit in with the herd of animals, they're gonna kick you out. And guess what? You're gonna die because you don't have that pack to help you. Either someone's gonna eat you or natural causes. As a wild animal, you're not gonna survive. However, we don't live in that day and age anymore where you have to be reliant on everyone else. Now, yes, we are very social creatures, and we do need that social interaction. However, I promise you that if people are hating on you for wanting to become successful, wanting to do what you want to do in life, then you shouldn't be surrounding yourself with those people in the first place. I don't know how, I say that so many times, and it's so true. And as I say, it all boils down to having that trust within yourself. Only you know how capable you. I don't know if I phrased it right, but only you know basically what you're capable of. That's what I meant to say. Only you know what you can truly accomplish throughout life. Other people don't know, and other people aren't going to believe in you, because other people who do judge, they're worried about being judged by other people themselves. Think about it this way. Nobody who is a millionaire, or who became a millionaire legitly, and who is no millionaire who is a genuine person, is going to criticize someone who has $0 for wanting to become, wealthy. Nobody's going to criticize an individual who is wanting to do that, because they're not insecure about themselves. And so that's really the big thing, is people hate for other people because they're insecure themselves. So if you have a fear of judgment, eliminate that as fast as possible and as efficiently as possible. I'm not saying it's an easy task. Believe me, it takes a lot of hard work to actually get rid of that fear. However, once you do, your life is going to be 10 times better. And if you're going to do anything and listen to anything I say, get rid of the fear of judgment. I don't care how you do it. I don't care how long it takes, but eventually you have to get rid of that fear.
Now, let me ask this. So I want to ask something from an entrepreneur perspective, and you're an entrepreneur and you work a job at a trampoline park. So the question I wanted to ask is, when you're talking about the mindset, so entrepreneur mindset, basically work your own hours, work whatever you want, a job, you have somebody tell you what to do for 8 hours and whatnot, just like you were mentioning of school. Go sit down, go do this. A job, you have somebody that tells you what to do. You work this many hours, and then you go home. So the mindset, and the question I want to ask you, it's not bad to work a job, but the question that I kind of want to ask you, and I don't think it's going to really come out right, so forgive me if it don't come out right. Long term, is it? I wouldn't say is it bad to have jobs, but long term, if people want to be entrepreneurs, and we need employees, but the mindset of, I don't want to work a job the rest of my life, but why, when people don't reach not their expectations, but when they don't reach their full potential, and they talk about themselves in a bad way, but they work a job, you have somebody tell you what to do anyway. So what's the difference between doubting yourself and then you're an entrepreneur, you work your own hours, you have to work as harder, and then we work a job, you have somebody tell you what to do for 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. So what's the difference here? Because when you work a job, you have somebody tell you what to do too. So how what's the system? Is the system messed up?
So first off, not everyone can be a CEO. Not everybody can be a business owner of a company. Not everyone can be an Elon Musk. Not everybody can be Jeff Bezos. Not everyone can own a multi-million-dollar company, because there's competition. There's space for it. There's a reason why there's a 1%. And there's nothing wrong with working a job. There's nothing wrong with working a job. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. As you said, we need workers. But and this is the biggest thing that separates you just wanting to do something and taking the easy route. That's not enough. That's simply not enough. For example, when you see all these people on social media, oh yeah, I do drop shipping. I can show you how to create an SMMA account, make millions of dollars. It doesn't work like that. It's not that easy. And this is why I say the earlier you start, the better. Life is about adversity. You're going to have people who hate on you. You're going to have people who dislike you. You're going to have all these different things. You're going to have barriers financially, mentally, physically, spiritually. You're going to have so many different barriers that are going to prevent you from doing what you want. However, if you're able to conquer those and enjoy the pain, enjoy the suffering, enjoy the adversity, you're going to go far. And literally, only 1% of the people who actually consume my content take action. A lot of people watch my content. Wow, what he says makes a lot of sense. However, they don't do anything about it. They don't do a single thing. And if you want to become successful and actually be I don't like the word entrepreneur, because it's the way that people use it nowadays is not what it's, I don't like the word. It's weird nowadays. So I don't like saying the word entrepreneur, but if you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to resist complacency. Otherwise, you're going to have to work a job. And also, there's nothing wrong with working a job. A lot of people, if anybody hates on anybody for working a job, I think you are a terrible person. Because if you go out to eat at a restaurant, right? Always thank the waiter. Thank you for my food. Thank you. I appreciate it. Always leave a tip. Always show your gratitude and thankfulness, because guess what? You wouldn't get that food if it weren't for people working for you. You want to have assistants. You want to have people to wash your car. You want to have people to build houses. You want to have these people if they didn't work jobs. So you should always thank everybody. And so a lot of people, when they do become rich and successful, they treat people poorly and terribly. I don't care who you are. You treat everybody with nothing but kindness and respect, because there's certain people who have to work jobs. And however, nobody wants to work a job, but you need people who have to do so. And my big thing to you is, if you don't want to work a job, you have to put in the hard work and effort. And the earlier you do it, the easier it's going to be. The more resistance you have, the easier it's going to be. Do not give in to society in the way that they want you to conform you. And I'm not getting a conspiracy theorist, but they put chemicals in your food, as everyone knows. They want you medicated. The sun is bad for you. Don't be in the sun. They want you to be inside all day, artificial light booming into your face. They want you consumed by all these algorithms on social media. There's so many things that they purposely do that prevent you from becoming the best version of yourself. And believe me, it's not coincidental. It is on purpose. They purposely do these things to you. And so there's nothing wrong with working a job. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with going to college, getting a basic degree, and getting a basic job that provides you. Nothing wrong with that. However, if you want to become successful, and when I say successful, I mean that top 1%, live that rich life, travel, do all these different things. Not everyone can be a CEO. So what makes you stand out from the rest? You have to be hungry. You have to want it more so than anybody else does. And that's, again, what I feel like separates me from other people is, as you can tell, the energy that I radiate off. No 18-year-old has my energy. I'm telling you, you can put me in a ring with any 18-year-old, right? I'm going to dominate because of my energy. Like, nobody is as hungry as I am. And it's just, when it comes to mindset development and having that dumpster mentality, it all boils down to that, is who wants it more? You or the next person in line? Who wants it more at the end of the day? And it definitely all just boils down to that one simple thing, is who wants it? Because if you want it, you're going to make it happen. Whoever wants it more in life, they're going to make it happen. And if you have a weak mentality, oh, well, I tried, but I couldn't do it because of X thing. Okay, then guess what? You're not going to get it, because the world does not care about your opinions. The world does not care about your emotions. They only care about facts, and to an extent, not even logic. They only care about what they see. And this applies especially when you post on social media. You can post a video of you crying, oh, my body's not healthy. I'm not this. Oh, but I'm getting bullied. Who cares? That doesn't add on any benefit to your life by complaining. Sure, you'll get 1 or 2 people who are going to, cater towards you. But other than that, no one cares. And that's just life. And so you have to be able to separate yourself from the weak and be strong and build up this mentality to create the life that you want to live, which is basically everything that I preach. But
attention without action leads to arrogance. Attention without action leads to arrogance. So, any final words for episode 2 of the dumpster mentality?
Basically, if you want something, you're the only person who can actually make it happen. You gotta want it. You have to be hungry for it, and it's. There's nothing else I can say other than that. So if you've actually watched this all the way through and you've listened to you're listening to what I say, you have to take action. You only have but so much time on this planet. You don't have an infinite amount of time to start. The best time to start is now. But the thing is that probably if you're viewing this, and I'm going to say this to kind of hopefully spark a fire, but if you're watching this, you're probably not going to do anything about it because you're consuming content in the first place. You're probably not going to take action. You're probably just listening to what I say and agree with what I say, but you're probably not going to do anything about it. And you're never going to be successful unless you do something about it. After watching this, go do something. Start that business. Go for a run. Start developing a plan. Exert high energy. Develop these habits. Everything that we've talked about throughout this entire episode. You got to do something. And it all starts with you. So nothing more I can say other than that. I can only say but so much. It all boils down to you, person on the other side of the screen, for taking action. So nothing more I can say. You, person.
Well, Totem Pole Nation, great episode. Episode 2 of Dumpster Mentality. Totem Pole Nation, sponsored by St. Pete Rejuvenate, sponsored by Cultivative Wellness, and also we are sponsored by our new partner, Sideline Design. Yes, everything goes down. It's Totem Pole Nation. We have Coby's Court episode 3 that's coming out soon. Don't forget to follow Coby_Go on all social medias, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. And don't forget his platform, createyourexistence.net. There is one free course. Join the Discord. The rest you have to pay for, and you get one-on-one mentorship. But you have to pay for that as well. I'm not disclosing any prices. You better go look on the website and figure it out yourself. And you better not waste this man's time. And you better have the money to do it. The prices is reasonable, okay? If you spend all that money on partying and alcohol and all this other bad stuff and fast food that you put on your body and all this, new shoes every week, new Jordans, new jersey like this. Well, I had a jersey 3 years ago. But if you can spend money on all this other stuff and you act like you can't pay for this mentorship, then I can't help you. He can't help you either. So go ahead and keep having those bad habits. But if you listen to this episode, you better learn something. You better have good habits. But I agree with Coby. Y'all ain't going to do nothing. Y'all just go talk until somebody in your family probably died. Then you're going to use that as an excuse. But Totem Pole Nation, that is it. Coby's Court episode 3 will be coming soon. Dumpster Mentality is a good episode. It's a great one. But Totem Pole Nation, we will be catching you later on